Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
Let's get, if we have one more clip we're going to play here before we go, and we're not going to go too far in this, but for some of you that don't know, they're going to say, how the hell is Evel even here? Who the fuck is this guy? And I can understand how you would say that. You'd say, why is this guy, Neely's younger brother, popping in here with a show all of a sudden? Well, the truth of the matter is that the CMS created me. The thought of this that I'm doing with you, Ruben, never entered my brain until Neely, I felt when I listened to the show, kind of kept calling me out.
Right.
Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I took it personally and he just meant it to any motherfucker listening to his podcast. But I'm the kind of person that's like, if you challenge me to something, I'm going to make you cash the check if you're going to write it,
right.
motherfucker. So if you're going to say that no one else can talk on a microphone about rock music and no one else, and if you can do it, go get your own show. That's how Evel came to be. So we'll take a quick probably pause here if you don't have it ready, and then we'll bring it right back. But we're going to just play a little bit of something here. This was the episode of the CMS that really put it in my brain that I was going to have to get a microphone for myself. You know.
Docking right here on the Classic Show with Is It Me or Is It You? Is it you, Chris? You shit disturber with your and presents?
Well, I'm a shit disturb with the CMS right now.
Oh, what happened now?
Well, now people are mad at you who have already been mad at you.
Oh, they're mad at me? What did I do now?
Well, you're not answering their calls when they're calling.
Who called?
I'm going to bring it right to the screen.
Okay.
I'm not going to. That would be Andrew Richard here, who says, all week address your grievances with Neely, then I try and nothing. All fair enough, just don't act like I didn't try to talk to the motherfucker himself.
Okay.
So feel free to call. And you got the phones on, Neely?
Yeah, the phones are on.
Has it rang at all?
Not during our last segment as far as I can.
So I don't know if you want to talk
right
about
there.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the show that they would not take calls from me or Andrew. We were both calling at the same time. I believe we were screenshotting during this episode that we were trying to call the number and he was not answering the phone. So make note of this. Right here, when he goes, there's your cue that he's full of shit. Okay? Because Andrew was calling and I was calling and he wasn't answering. So when he does the that's because he doesn't want to fucking say yes or no because he's about to tell a fucking lie. Otherwise, you just say, no, that hasn't been calling. Or yes, someone did call. They go, So Neely, you're full of shit. This is why I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, because they said that we could have a voice, and this is an unfiltered show, and everyone can have an opinion, and there's no censorship, right? That was the first main thing of the CMS when I first started the show. We don't want any censorship. Mm-hmm. So I did not understand why they were censoring me and Andrew from calling in and why they were being hypocrites and calling us out, but not letting us come on the show to answer. It was bullshit. So this is why I got a microphone. This is why I dress up with this motherfucker, because he would not fucking take my call. Now he did take my call months later when we launched this thing, because he kind of got forced into it via the chat room and the show live on the air. But since then he's gone back into silence mode, doesn't answer emails, doesn't answer calls, doesn't answer requests, and pretends like we don't exist. That is horseshit. It's hypocrisy. It's hypocritical. And I'm not saying Aiken is hypocritical, because for the most part, Aiken isn't hypocritical. It's Neely who's hypocritical. I was never, and we'll actually hit play. We'll go further into this. There's some other points they try to make that are completely invalid and have nothing to do with what me and Andrew were talking about. But go ahead.
You can tell.
And we weren't going to pick up a call during an interview.
No.
So what? Phones are open.
Yeah, it's on.
Right there. We were calling. We were
800-497-5891. You got the right number in your phone. They love to hate you, dude.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, my life is now less than what it was.
You better quit the show.
What did I do?
It's just the doc and shit.
Well, so what?
Well, you're not objective. You can't be fair. You lie to him. You tell him he's great when he's not. You tell the fans that he's great when he's not.
I've never said that. I've never said that.
Okay, right there. Stop.
Oh,
Stop.
You-
That's a lie.
That's a
That's
lie.
a lie. That's a lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's lying. He's lying. He may have not used the word great, but he has come back from weekends and said there was a damn good show this weekend with Dawkins. So that you're lying. You said it yourself. Well, he gives good shows. There's not a good show in the last 10 fucking years with Don Dawkins, bro. So
Yeah.
you're full of shit. You're lying to everyone because of your friendship. We're not asking you to trash your best buddy. We're just saying be honest. If you won't be honest, let us be honest, right? Let us call in the show and give an opinion of what's really going on here. You could stand by the side and not say anything. That's fine, but you're not letting us say it, and you're acting like you never said that he was putting on. You've said multiple times. You come back, oh, Don was doing great this week, and he sounded good, and this and that. Now, there's been some other times you came in and blamed it on the sound man, and you blamed it on the crowd or the venue, but the reality was, you have tried to talk up how good Don is, and he's not good. Not by any stretch of anyone's imagination. If there was a 1 to 10, Don's at a 5 or less. A 5 on the best show of the week, and most times he's probably doing 3 and 4s. So come on, bro. Just call it straight. That's all. All that me and Andrew wanted to do was have an opportunity to say, hey, because here's this, Ruben. If you're a CMSer, and those watching this should be CMSers, we have watched them pull out game tape of Vince Neil, David Lee Roth, Mark Torian, Mark Slaughter. I can go on
Jeff
and on
Keith.
the singers they've trashed.
Yeah.
Yep. And they've never once played a single clip of Don Dawkins. And when we brought that up, now we're haters.
And do you think when he goes and fabricates that statement to Don, do you think that's secretly how Neely felt about the memorial? Do you think Neely saw that and goes, "Oh fuck, I think he ruined his memorial"? I don't know. I don't think Neely's that dumb. I think that he has, he has these thoughts himself. He's just not going to get on the air and say it. And I never once said that he needs to throw his buddy under the bus and get on the air and ruin his trip with Don. That's not the point. The point was when you started censoring us. When you started saying, we can't say that, not on your show. And, well, if you want to say that, get your own mic and get your own show. Well, here I am. You fucking wished it, Neely. Now you got it. And so my whole thing is, dude, like, it's the hypocrisy. You just never, that's not what I thought the CMS was. That's my point. Because I've heard so many people call it and say such outrageous shit. Right. Well, and I think the other thing, doesn't it make you wonder? I think when they were popping off about Blotzer and they were like, yeah, he's free to call, and all they got was voicemails. Maybe that's why they got voicemails, is because he's too much of a coward to take the call live.
I did wonder that if that was part of it. I also considered, that Bobby Blotzer's probably got better shit to do on a Saturday night than call these knuckleheads. So maybe he was calling them Sunday morning or Monday and leaving the voicemail. But he did try to act like in that one episode with Greenbaum that we wanted to 2 times try to get him on the show. He didn't come on. No, he kept calling, bro, and he kept telling you exactly how he felt about all you guys. As a matter of fact, in one of the voicemails, he clearly says that you guys are going to fucking sandbag him. So that might be why he didn't want to come on the show, because he was going to get sandbagged by 2 guys who can argue with 2 fucking guys. So, but again, you're willing to do all that with Blotzer because he's not your friend.
Right.
But you would never bring up any of this shit if it pertained to Don Dawkins.
Right.
So that's where the hypocrisy started for me.
And I think another quick note on that is that the fact that they're not taking calls is kind of stuck it to everybody. Like, Tim James isn't getting in. Aussie Ace isn't getting in. Two entertaining callers that I always look forward to hearing. Barden isn't getting in. Barden, again, as much as he is a Roth nut swinger, his takes are pretty entertaining, as delusional as they are at times,
And that was my point, was I thought the CMS was the place where we could say pretty much
whatever we thought, via the chat, via the call-ins, the emails. There was all kinds of ways to get a hold of these guys and there's some shit out there that these people throw at them that is fucking loony.
Right.
But that's what made it fun. And and maybe 50-60% of it I never agreed with. I thought was fucking insane. But I never said, well, don't let them say that, or don't let them call in, or they can't have that opinion because he's my friend. I just don't operate that way. And so to be told, particularly at this point in time on this show, that I wasn't calling in and Andrew wasn't calling in, when we both know we were calling in, we were screenshotting it to each other in real time, showing that it was fucking ringing to no answer, because the guy right there, Wendell fucking Neely, knew we were calling and wasn't answering on purpose.
Right. All right. Well,
let's just give him a couple more minutes.
Yeah,
there's a couple. There's a couple. Two more points I want to make. That he says here right after this. Yeah.
What the opinion is.
Okay.
My opinion is and I will say, I told people this is a result of me telling people in the chat room that if they want to take it up with you, take it up with you, because I don't care.
Well, well, to be honest, I don't care either.
I know, but if the show means so fucking much to these guys, and they fucking need it so goddamn bad to tell you, you worship Dawkins too much.
Well,
tell him.
Here's the truth of the matter.
Okay.
If it wasn't for Dawkins, there probably would not be a CMS that you enjoy so much. How about that? There's a genesis to everything. And one of the inspirations and one of the motivators that caused me to start this show way back in 1996 was Dawkins.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's where the genesis of the show.
That has nothing to do with why me and Andrew cannot have opinions. You're smoke screening people here. You're bullshitting again. That you and your show has nothing to do with what we were complaining about. It has nothing to do with you directly, or how you started the show, or how the fact that you discussed Dawkins. We don't care about that. What we cared about was we were not being allowed in any form, either on the show, in the chat groups, in many ways, to voice an opinion countering what he's saying about Don. That's what wasn't allowed. And that was hypocritical, because before, they're calling in saying all kinds of racist shit. How the hell can you let that slide, but you don't let me call it and say Don didn't sound good last night? Are you serious?
Right.
So again, going into something what Neely's taking it someplace has nothing to do with it. You can start the show for whatever reasons, Neely. We don't care. I didn't even listen to you in 1996. Came to you in fucking 2010 when I found the fucking show on YouTube. Straight up. It wasn't for the Dawkins interviews. It wasn't because you played Dawkins music. It was actually for all the people, the fucking Bob Leathers, the Bravermans, the Tim James, the real Jeff Tate was my number one guy. I love listening to every segment of the real Jeff Tate. That's why I listened to your show. It really I tolerated Neely, honestly, to listen to that stuff, to listen to Aiken. So him going to this has nothing to do. Now he's going to say here in a second, we'll let it hit play for just a couple more minutes. We don't want to take this all day, but he does say here that we were expecting him to slag Don, and no one ever said that.
Came from, there were several influences that came into this, and Dawkins was a huge influence. That's how it is. Metal Shop was one of them. Having Charlie Kendall on the show a few weeks ago was a big highlight, because it was one of the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
The band Dawkins is a huge influence. That is a huge part of the puzzle. Here it is. The show is 28 years old. If it wasn't for those influences, this show never would have come to be. It's a show that you seem to enjoy and actually created a fan site for.
Yeah.
So, why are you cutting off my nuts for something that I did based on something that I enjoyed? And obviously you enjoy so much.
Yeah.
So that's just the fact of the matter. Whether you like it or not, that's just where it comes from.
Well, and you're gonna be surprised by this, but the guy that probably came to your defense the best on this thing during the week, John Drake.
Okay.
John basically
Moonface.
said, what are you supposed to do? You're obviously not more than acquaintances. You know, you've been invited to fucking holidays with the guy.
Sure.
What are you supposed to do? Come on the show with Don and say, hey, bro, you suck, but hey, good to see you, even though you have no talent and you stink. Is that what you're supposed to say?
And never have I said, ever, I don't believe I've ever said, they're the greatest. I don't think I've
No one ever said that.
anything like that.
Yeah.
You're just making shit up now.
Look, if we're going to be honest, let's be honest. You've come back from some shows that some videos came out of that really did not look good. And you said that it was a good show. And that's fine.
Thank you, Chris.
Again.
Thank you, Chris.
People aren't hearing the whole one. You're hearing it through a YouTube video. And I'm not defending you either. You can defend yourself.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is the atmosphere, and this is the piece that they don't.
So real quick, just think back to the recent 80s cruise, how he was playing up Don. I mean, that's even more recent. So, I mean,
He said he said, did he not say Don was like the most accessible,
Right.
most popular guy on the cruise?
Right.
So
Yep.
again, like Aiken is saying what I was saying earlier, right there, being honest. Wendell has talked up how great Don's done. Now he may not use the greatest word, or
Yeah.
maybe he didn't even say great. Maybe he said he was doing good, but good as that's stretching it.
Yeah.
And the point was never. Who's cutting off your balls? What are you talking
Right.
about? Where the fuck does that even come from? You picking up a phone and letting me have my opinion on Don
Right.
Dawkin, or even more important at this time, Andrew calling up and having his opinion of Don Dawkin. Is that cutting off your balls? Really? Don has that much control
Yeah.
over you in the fucking show that we're undercutting you by bringing up Don's crappy performance? If that's the case, you're a fucking weak person,
Right.
Wendell. You
He
have no
is.
fucking balls at all. There's no balls to cut off, motherfucker. There's none, because you fucking gave them to Don Dawkin, apparently. So all I've been saying all along was, hey, dude, you don't have to say shit. But just like, because there's been other times where people called in, were ranting and raving, and Chris just said, I can't say anything about that. I work for that guy. I'm doing his website. I'm Switzerland over here. Y'all say what you want to say. That is still allowing the conversation to take place. He didn't have to get dirty in it, but he wasn't being a hypocrite and he wasn't censoring anyone. Why can't Wendell do that with Dawkin? That's what was my question. That was the one question I wanted to pose that I never got to pose. That's the reason why I have a fucking wrap-up show now, because it's the only way I could pose the question was to get on my own microphone and say, Wendell, why? Why is this?
Right.
What relationship? Is this a homosexual relationship?
Sure
Do
is
you love
weird.
him? Yeah, I mean, is that where you're at with it, dude? Because honestly, you should be okay with anyone else saying whatever the fuck we want to say. And so in the end, it's okay, Wendell. You didn't let us say it on your show. Fine. But now there's a wrap-up show, and you hate that too. And you've tried to undermine that as well. So unlike you, we're going to call it to you. All you watching this, we're going to call it to you straight. When the shit happens, we're going to say, this is what's going on. And this is why it's going on. And when there's weird shit behind the scenes, like Wendell's trying to fuck with Ruben's interview with Don Dawkin, I'm going to call him out and say, motherfucker, stop fucking pulling fucking shenanigans behind the scenes. So y'all, he says, we love the show. We don't love you, Wendell. We tolerated you. We loved Aiken. We loved Braverman. We loved the real Jeff Tate. We love the callers. We love the CMSers in the chat and the shit that they would pop up with the comments during the different segments. That's what we love. You're weird, dude. Now, I'm not saying you're unimportant. You helped form the show, of course. I'm fucking dressing like you, motherfucker, just for a reason, right? So the bottom line is you have a role here, but don't do this, dude. This is honestly, and that's my last point for this segment before we go. We'll discuss this again down the road. The show has gone astray since this shit was tolerated, since this shit became the norm. When the hypocrisy became real, when the bullshit kept getting higher and higher and no one was shoveling it out, and we can all see that there's bullshit here. That's not real, man. And in this day and age, in 2025, in the digital fucking internet age with cameras and cell phones and all this, you can't hide, Wendell. You can't bullshit us. We're all networking and talking about you and other things. And you don't have any control of that. And neither does Don Dawkin. And Don Dawkin get on the interview and fucking with Ruben and say, well, you said this about me. That wasn't true. We know where that came from, Wendell. Only you, bro. There's no one else who could have put that in Don's ear, because it's bullshit. It's the same bullshit you're talking here. It's bullshit you're making up to deal with the fact that I'm here now
Andrew's here now. Ruben's here now. And even back then, we were just trying to be a part of the show as a caller, as a messenger. I got bumped out of the calls, the chat room. I'm persona non grata, dude. Fuck, dude. They've banned me on every level. Censorship at its finest. So that's why I'm here. You censored me to the point that I had to get my own microphone and my own fucking show. So you're not going to make me go away now. You're not. This is just one piece of the puzzle, but I wanted people to know what were the origins of Evel Knievel. Why did the wrap up? Where did this idea even come from? It came from not having any opportunity to even be a part of the CMS, because if I said anything that Lord Wendell didn't fucking approve, I was banned. That's the truth. So here I am. So Wendell, your show was better 10 years ago, and we all know it. That's what built the CMS. It wasn't 15 or even 20 years ago. Last year or two, last couple of months, we've been watching and we've been commenting, and fuck, dude, it's almost, I'm now listening to the show for our show, not because I really want to listen to the show. They almost don't do anything I want to listen to anymore.
True.
So,
yeah.
I mean, me and you conference on the chat when the show goes on. It's the same thing. You know, what have you done all week? This is where I was. This is what I did. And then they talk about some news segments. But I mean, really at this point in time, like really all the fun stuff, the funny stuff doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So that's too bad. So we're going to help fill that gap, and we're going to try to bring some of that over here. We don't do the live show in the chats, but y'all can definitely email us. You can message me, Ruben, or Andrew, or our show Facebook page, and we will answer you. You can comment on our YouTube videos and our Rumble videos, and you'll usually see a like or a comment right back from one of us, usually me. And so we're not going to avoid anybody. And you can say you fucking hate me. You can say you hate my wig. Awesome. I don't really care. I'm not so sensitive about all this that I'm going to fucking be, there's no golden goose on the CMS Wrap Up Show. There might be some people we like or like, but the difference would be is if someone had a differing opinion than mine or Ruben's, we'd probably let you come on the show and we'd probably schedule a fucking episode. You can come on like Tim James and voice it.
Right.
So
Tim James.
We're cool with it. We're not censoring anyone. Yeah. I don't agree with everything everyone says. Me and Ruben don't agree all the time. So it's fine. That's just, it's opinions. Everyone, like an asshole, everyone's got them. The difference is that I think Wendell takes himself too seriously, and he's taking the situation too seriously. He's taking his coverage of Dawkins too seriously. And it's one where no one ever said he can't be friends with him or have a favorable opinion of him because it's his friend. It was when you wouldn't let anyone else say anything about him that seemed weird. When you would rail on all these singers who, quite frankly, do far better than Dawn every single night. I'd take Mark Slaughter 10 times out of 10 times over at Don Dawkins' show right now, current day. And Mark Slaughter's not at the top of his game.
Right.
But to act like Don's doing good, there's good Dawkins shows going on out there. Well, we've all seen the videos. This is not the case, dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
And if it was the case, if they came out tomorrow and had a home run show, me and Ruben would probably bring it up on the show. Look how well they fucking did. Dawn sounds like $1 million, and this is all tight. This is going good. And it's not the band. It's not Levin, not BJ. It's not even McCarville. And I'm not a big fan of McCarville's vocals or bass playing. It's all right, but Jeff Pilson's a mile better in my opinion. But what I'm saying is that, come on, dude, it's the reality of the situation. And, I think in Dawn's case and with Wendell, he might need a little less of the yes men and more of people being real and honest with him. So I don't think that Wendell's helping Dawn on the road by having him croak through shows like a fucking toad. That's my opinion. But that opinion was not allowed to be expressed. So here we are, CMS Wrap Up Show. Where we will fire shots at anyone who fucking gets on stage and makes a mockery of themselves.
Who knows? We'll probably have some good shit for next week.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be catching Queensryche in a few days, and I'll do a little review. I'm seeing Todd Latore and Whip and Eddie and the boys here in my local small mountain town. The one big rock concert we'll probably get of the year. So I'm going to take my kid to that. I'll do a little show review and tell you guys what I thought. I've never seen him with Latore. I've only watched the videos on the internet. So to see it live in person will be interesting to me. I've seen Queensryche with Jeff Tate multiple times back in the day. But this will be my first time with Latore, and I think I'm going to give it a shot, go into it open-minded. I think the man can sing from the videos I've seen, so
I'm just going to be more interested in what will be the song selection, what the vibe of the show is overall. So, do we lose your audio? Not hearing you.
It's my
Be on mute.
it's my
There you
mic
go.
is dropping in. A lot of these Aiken IT gremlins, I think. I don't know. So, anyways, yeah, no,
we're gonna have to
that'll
call
be-
Chris.
blame call Chris. No,
Aiken.
I'm sure the Queensryche show will be good. I've seen him with
Yeah.
Latore a number of times, but I'll be curious to see what your take is, being that you've not seen him, and I'm sure you'll have a good report back on that.
Yeah, I'm fair. I wouldn't have spent the money if I thought it was going to be a crap show.
Mhm.
So I'm fairly confident they'll put on a good show. I'm just going to be curious: is it just going to be, strictly the old stuff? Will they throw in any of the stuff they do with him? Will they mix it up? So well, so check it out. I'll have a
Right.
little review and maybe a set list of what they did and what my opinions were. So yeah,
All right. Well, all right.
rock
So
on.
yeah, we'll catch up again next time, and we'll have some more stuff to talk about.
Absolutely. So for the CMS Wrap Up Show, we're going to say bye, kids.
Raise your horns high.